now like to introduce Adam Novak, the president of Shift SC. As a junior studying computer science and Korean studies, Adam co-founded Shift SC at the beginning of this academic year. It has been an honor to work with him. Here's Adam talking about shifting towards something greater, Tech for Good.
I can still remember 3 years ago wishing something like this existed. I was a freshman at USC studying computer science, and like all my peers, I got swept away in the tech hype. I went to every hackathon and pitch competition, brainstormed apps at every dinner in the dining hall, and yes, I will now admit, watched every Elon Musk YouTube video. Yet amidst all the excitement for tech and its potential to change the world, something felt missing. In each class, we jump into this world-renowned curriculum on building technology, yet the social context we're building technology within was largely ignored. With these growing social issues around us, the way technology contributes to the problem and the solution wasn't really talked about. To give you some examples, social media algorithms now push political parties towards divisive ads through optimizing for clicks and views. In my algorithms class, though, while we talked about how to optimize, we never talked about what to optimize for. Engaging user interfaces keep us spending more time than we'd like to on our devices. Yet in my iOS class, while we talked about how to build these great apps, this trade-off was never mentioned. Mass automation is predicted to create the largest labor displacement in history and rising social tensions. Yet this social issue was deemed beyond the scope of my technical AI class. Even beyond classes, it felt hard to engage with these issues. My friends and I were all competing for the top grades and top internships, and given that I'd been rejected from just about every club on campus, my last resort was podcasts or more Elon Musk videos. It felt like a haze. I was being pulled into this competition and this impostor syndrome. The most important issues in tech felt overlooked, and I couldn't find any place to share my concerns. I even started to lose my sense of purpose. What am I doing with my time here in college? I'd gotten so deep into this tech culture, I had to get as far away from it as possible. The farthest place I could think of, a Buddhist monastery. I spent last summer living at a Vipassana Meditation Center, a type of Buddhist monastery which continuously offers these 10-day meditation courses. There, I lived the life of a monk. My 4 a.m. Taco Bell runs were replaced with 4 a.m. wake-up gongs, and my obsession over grades and internships was replaced with a focus on my breath and body. At the monastery, every little thing was structured to support a practice of deep mindfulness. And part of that meant no phones, no laptops, no personal devices. You see, today, monastic living is just as much about adding 10 hours of daily meditation as it is of removing 10 hours of daily screen time. Throughout the summer, I checked my phone maybe once a month. My screen time had never been so low, my inbox had never been so empty, and my mind had never been so calm. I felt so fulfilled, so content, so grateful, yet also a little strange. Back at USC, I spend all my time improving this digital experience. Yet it was putting away the digital experience which led to the deepest well-being I've known. I started to wonder, how do our devices and apps not just add to our quality of life, but also take away from it? Technology has improved our lives in so many ways, yet we should look at it holistically. How might some innovation, while making one thing better, make another thing worse? And given that technology is advancing so rapidly, how do we account for its unintended social consequences and steer it in the right direction? At the same time, I was also wondering, is it just me who thinks about this? Had I just been brainwashed by this meditation cult? Or were there others at USC who were asking these exact same questions? As my summer at the monastery came to a close and I prepared to return to USC, I was looking for a fresh start. I wanted to cure this disorientation and this loneliness I felt as a freshman by finding others who similarly cared about how technology affects our society. Before I knew it, I was having Zoom calls, coffee chats, cacao talks with all these students, some who were into tech, some into education, policy, design, some who had just come off of a corporate internship, and others who had just graduated high school. Each of us had come from a different background, yet each of us had come to the same conclusion. We need a shift in tech, and we need a place to act and converse on what that really means. Inspired to fill the gap, a few friends and I came together, started a student org centered around this shift. A shift in the way we think about technology, its role in our world, and our role in shaping it. Technology ultimately is not neutral. It amplifies our intent and capacity. We have the opportunity to shape it in a direction that we want. And we should be asking, how should we shape that? How do we account for the unintended social consequences of tech? And how do we put human well-being and societal welfare at the center of how we think about it? The great thing is, the shift is already begun at USC. This year, we've had more speakers than ever come talk on the ethics, the safety, and the equity of technology. Last week, the founder of Tinder came to speak on mindfulness of all things. And tonight, we're gathered here together in Bovard to appreciate how Trojans are doing tech for good. And thanks to our great team here at Shift SC. And the shift does not just stop at SC. I've spoken with similar student org leaders from around the country, whether in LA, Palo Alto, Boston, everywhere, students just like us feel the same way. We see problems which tech has created. We see problems which tech can solve. And we see that we have the ability and the responsibility to do something about them. Let's create conversation around the more important issues in tech. Let's take action on our ideas that could change society for the better. Let's be the shift we wish to see in the world. Thank you.